Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Bridget. I'm the So Flow Flipper, and I'm out here in Alaska still in Anchorage, and I'm on Diamond Boulevard, and I am sitting out here in front of a Value Village, a different one that I went to the other day. So I'm going to bring you guys inside. Let's check this one out, see if we can find anything to bring home and flip for a profit. So join me. Value Village. Checking it out. So right away when I walk in, the hard goods are right there on an end cap. And so I just dove right in and started checking out what they had. And they had the typical candlesticks and candles and little mirrors. And then this crazy mushroom little resin scene for $9.99. So I'm checking it out here. I'm like, what is this? Is it a candle holder? I thought it was a Maxwell wax melter at first. But I decided to get that, and I put it in my basket. I liked it. I mean, who wouldn't? Purple mushrooms, right? And of course, we have the dolls, which I tend to stay away from. I know nothing about dolls. And some Avon bottles. And some peanuts. And of course, the bells, the never-ending bells, and more bells. And then there's my finger, of course, because I'm working on the improving the filming situation. Because remember, I did all these thrift shops like in 2 days, and then came back and viewed all my filming at one time. So I haven't really been able to correct my issues until I take you on a thrifting trip that's after Alaska. So they were all done at the same time, so they will all have the same kind of mistakes. Sorry about that, guys, but I will try not to repeat them. But anyway, you can see the prices of the bells are pretty typical of what we see in Florida anyway. And then that peanuts thing, it was new in box, but $24.99. Ooh, it's a little steep. And those little vintage radios, that's not my area of expertise for sure, so I wouldn't know a good price or a bad price. And then that thermos thing for $24.99, that seems high to me, but that's totally out of my arena of knowledge. So it's not my wheelhouse. And then there's a baking wall. I don't really have baking walls, so kind of exciting to have baking walls, but they were mainly crafts, and you saw the gift, packaging for gifts and stuff, and a few odds and ends, but it was mostly, I would say, crafty kind of baggies with crafting supplies. And then they were these weird toy things. I checked them out to see if they were worth anything, and they were selling it for like, I think $6.99, and they were only worth like $10. So that was a no-go. But I kept hunting down the baggies. I see they have some candles there. Can't bring those home to Florida, but thrift shopping is the best place to get your candles. That's for sure. And then we have our little figurines here. Kind of our typical cheapy kind of ones. And a pretty little bell that's painted. The only time I ever really pick up a bell is if it's a Fenton bell. Painted Fenton bell. And I'm still looking at, I guess at $5.99, those little toys that I did not pick up, but I keep looking at. Gotta always check out the trinket dishes, because you never know when you're going to get a fancy one. And I love these Russian plates. I see them all the time. I see them in Florida too. That one was $5.99. You know what? They just don't sell well, and I love them. The little plates are so detailed and beautiful, but the Russian painting on boxes and other things, now that sells well. But of course, I didn't find that. There's a powder box. That's vintage. If I was at home, I might get that. $5.99 is kind of high, but I have sold many of those. And usually these little stained glass kind of sun catchers do well. That one didn't have the little chain, but it was pretty. And people like those. They hang them up in their windows. I'm looking at the bell again because I do like the enamel painting on the bell. And we've got our little pots and planters and vases. Got to have the vases. But you can see the prices, $5.99, $4.99, $6.99. I mean, it's kind of high. I thought that was a pretty vase with the applied leaf on it. But it was newer, and I usually try to hunt for the vintage. So I'm going for that crock back there, the little pottery. Not that I'd want to take that giant, huge, heavy thing home, but it wasn't a bad price for pottery. More vases, vases in every places. And of course, coffee mugs, vases and coffee mugs. Thrift stores would not be thrift stores. They didn't have coffee mugs and vases. But those cute ones with the little bears, some Disney ones. And they were the typical prices as well. I show you here that this one's missing the spoon. One has a spoon and one does not. Some pretty glass mugs with the tulips on them. But I'm going for the pottery one. But there's not two, which is good because I would have been tempted to take those home because I love ceramic pottery mugs. They feel so good to drink out of. My very, very, very favorite mug to drink out of is the one I got from a potter in Arizona where my sister lives. And she has a shop, and it's a working shop studio. And she has her retail in front, and she's working in the back. We got to meet her, and I bought a mug from her, and it's so comfortable to hold. It's so comfortable to drink out of, and then it's beautiful on top of it. And I want more because it's so pretty. I thought that was kind of cool. It's from Guatemala. And then this carved guy is signed. Not the painted Guatemala guy, but this guy. See, look. If I was home, I definitely would have picked him up. I don't know what he is. He's holding a birdhouse. I don't know if he's like a fisherman or something. And then here is a hand-carved tiki cup, tiki mug, wooden tiki mug, which I collect tiki mugs. So I was like, wow, this one's for me. Which is really funny because I'd never seen a wooden carved tiki mug before. So I go to Alaska and I find one at a thrift shop going, oh, how cool. What a great find. Which it was a great find. I love it. But since then, since I have been home in Florida, I have found them again. And I had never seen them prior to that. I thought that was a little crazy. There's some rolling pins. I don't know anything about rolling pins, but from what I hear, there are some vintage rolling pins that are worth a lot of money. And then, of course, there was all those knife sets. I've never seen so many knife sets in a thrift shop in my life. And I didn't really check them out because obviously I'm not going to travel with those. But, of course, if there were some Cutco knives, that would be a find of lifetime. And this was prior to 4th of July, so they were doing their best to do a little display. And then, of course, we're down to the dishes and platters. That black one, I thought it might be glass, but it was plastic. And then this piece of glass, I was checking it out. You can tell by the bottom, it's a piece of Chinese glass. And I thought these little blue and white, look at the little figures on them. They're dancing and playing or something. They just are frolicking and looking like they're having the best of times. But they weren't marked. But, I mean, they were absolutely adorable. They made me happy to look at them because they were happy. And I always have to look at any glass that may possibly resemble Fire and, what is it, Fire and Light? Fire and Light? Yeah, but I've never found it. In the wild, anyway. I don't know why I'm looking at that dish. I don't even think it's attractive. And this little melon teapot thing is, well, I guess it's more like a pitcher because it's got that big, huge spout, and I think it's the same spout you'd fill it with as you would pour out of it. But isn't it cute? I just love it. I guess it's because it's just so, the spout is just so chunky. I just like it. It's so cool. But I had to stay in Alaska for some other person to find it and love it. And of course, we've got the carnival glass, and I thought that bowl was so pretty with the kind of crackly pattern on it. But I did look it up, and it only goes for like $12. Isn't that amazing? That something so beautiful and so old, because you think about it, it is, probably from the 60s, and I don't know about that glass, might be newer. But that bowl is probably from the 60s, which is a long time ago now, like 60 years. And it's only worth $12. It's kind of sad. And then look at this plate. I loved this plate with the wolf howling at the moon and the snow-capped mountains. This is a dish set, and just the single plate, I looked it up, sells for only about $12. So only having one of them would not, be profitable. But if you found those dishes, I just thought the combination of the colors, the dark blue and the cream, and the kind of spongeware look, yet the howling wolf was so cool. If I lived in Alaska, it would be fun to have those dishes. Or Canada, or somewhere like that. And here I'm checking out the brands of the shirts, the men's shirts, just to see what's on the racks. And I was surprised how many Hawaiian or tropical shirts there were. Quite a few. Seeing that they have such a short summer. I guess they appreciate their summer more because it's so short. And therefore, in celebration of it, they all wear tropical shirts. Or maybe it's the travelers leaving them behind. I don't know. But there's a lot of them. And a lot of video media at all the thrift shops. And I liked this book. But I decided I was too old. It's for kids. And they had tons of new merchandise too. Did you see all the socks? It's miles and miles of socks. I took a gander at the men's shirts for a while too. Because I remember the other one I'd found the Pendleton shirt, and I was like, I wasn't going to go through all the shirts, but I was just kind of fielding through a few of them at the beginning, at the end of the rack. I was like, well, I got lucky last time. You never know. So here I am, panning through, kind of filling the shirts. There's tons of like Walmart labels and cheap labels. But, there's some good stuff in there with the cheapy stuff. And I'm like, whoa, I recognize that label. Genuine Harley Davidson. That's what I'm talking about. So I pick it up, and this shirt, it looks like a flannel shirt, guys. It is not. This thing weighs a ton. It is like a heavy denim, just not denim color. So I did put it in my cart. It was my husband's size, and I thought he may want it. But then again, it was so heavy, it would be a shirt that he would like wear once a year in Florida. Probably not even in Florida. It'd be when we were traveling because it was just that hot. I mean, that heavy. It was like a jacket shirt. So, although he liked it, and he has many Harley Davidson shirts to go with his Harley Davidson motorcycle, he opted to tell me just sell it. So, now that I'm doing this video, it will go live shortly. And I liked this shirt. I'm looking at it because it's actually a Hawaiian shirt from Hawaii. So the Hawaiian shirts from Hawaii, the brands from Hawaii, are usually a good indicator that they're worth a lot of money. So had I been home and didn't have a limit to my suitcase capacity, I probably would have picked up that Hawaiian shirt. But there's no shortage here in Florida of Hawaiian shirts. So it was not like it was a need. But it's still hard to find one from Hawaii. And of course, in Alaska, they're much closer to Hawaii than I am when I'm in Florida. In fact, a lot of Alaskans, because basically, if you go anywhere on vacation, you have to fly. And, it's quicker to Alaska than it is to the lower 48. So a lot of Alaskans vacay in Hawaii. So you see a lot of Hawaii kind of influence or Hawaii stuff there. And I'm carousing through the shoes. I didn't want to take any shoes home, but I'd like to see what they had. Lots of boots, even though it's summer. And I keep cruising through the shoes, and honestly, after I look at the shoes, my video got messed up. Well, I messed up my video. It didn't get messed up. The inexperienced user made some user errors, and so I don't really get the end of my shopping trip. But what I am going to do is I'll give you a little haul after this little shoe clip, and then if you want to stay on, you can see some beautiful pictures of some other areas near Alyeska where we visited, and kind of see my photo/video capturing of beautiful Alaska. All right, guys, this is my tiny little haul from this Second Value Village visit in Anchorage. And the first item that I picked up was this mushroom resin decoration. It's actually vintage and worth about $40. Not sure what it is exactly because this little flower is loose. So I don't know if it's like a votive holder or what, but I paid $9.99. Super funky and cool. And then the second item you saw me pick up was this vintage hand-carved wooden tiki mug. Paid $3.99. I collect tiki mugs, so this is for my personal collection. And then the last item was this Harley Davidson shirt. So it's actually super cool. It looks like a flannel shirt, but it's not. It's actually made out of, it snaps up, and it's made out of like a denim. It's heavy, like a jacket. But it's got the #1 Harley Davidson on the back. And that's my haul, guys. That's what I picked up. I took the price tag off the shirt, so I don't know exactly what I spent. We'll have to look in the video, but the shirt should sell from $45 to $65, somewhere in that neighborhood, because it's more like a jacket. And now let's go back and see a little bit more of Alaska. Hi, I'm Bridget, the Soulful Flipper. I'm out here in the Girdwood area of Alaska at the Wildlife Conservation Center, where they've got different wildlife in a habitat here for your viewing. They got buffalo, well, bison actually, and reindeer, and elk, and brown bears, and black bears, and wolves, and bald eagles, and a lot of other animals. So join me as we check it out. You ever see them go?
No, they just introduced them